sometimes we think that Canadian market is very tough to enter, specifically for freshers. And we think that after graduating, we have to work in Walmart or we have to work in Loblaws or Subway, something like that, because we don't have that experience to enter the Canadian job market. But maybe we are not doing it the right way. Maybe there is something that we are missing and we need to do it the right way. We need to make some good contacts. And you know what? We have heard a lot about networking. Guys, please do networking. Networking plays a great role here. But how to do that networking? What's the right way to approach people? So, this video is completely about networking today.
So, hi guys, welcome to Mindment Discussions. This is Sakshi.
And I'm Rashi.
So today we'll be meeting Miss Astha Tiwari, who came here as an international student and who's a fresher, who started her career as a fresher and now is doing a full-time job at the University of Ottawa. She'll be sharing some great networking tips on how to enter into Canadian market as a fresher. So please watch the video till the end, because towards the end, Astha will be sharing a very useful insight about how to approach employers and how to be confident while you network.
So please watch this video. It's going to be very helpful for you, even if you have experience or if you don't have experience.
So now let's meet
Miss Astha Tiwari herself. Astha, hello Astha, how are you doing?
Hi Astha.
Hi Rashi, hi Sakshi. I'm doing great. I'm just enjoying my weekend today, I would say. And yeah, so far so good.
How, please start telling us about a little bit about yourself and what is your profile, and before you did your masters from here.
Yes,
sure. So actually, I came as a fresher here. So I started I finished my bachelor's in June 2018, and as soon as I finished it, I was like, I was not prepared to start my career in India, and I thought like might as well just finish my studies altogether. So I just thought of continuing my degree and like doing a master's from Canada. So I started my master's in January 2019 in digital transformation and innovation, and I just recently graduated from that course. So it was a 2-year degree with like 3 academic terms and 2 co-op terms. So I was lucky enough to get a co-op, like consecutive co-op terms, I would say. As soon as I graduated, I was looking for something in user experience. So I was doing my co-op in University of Ottawa in information technology. And I now work there itself as a full-time research software analyst, so at the university.
Okay. So Astha, as we know that a lot of students, they face problems in finding jobs if they don't have experience and if they don't have prior experience, basically. So looking at your profile, you came here, you did your master's, and you did you get any hard time for finding your job, and how did you manage that?
So I would say one key that I had from the beginning was networking for me. So I did find it a little bit difficult as compared to people who have already experience, but the good thing about networking is you kind of get a lot of references as you go. So when I came here, as I mentioned already, I came here in winter, and I was not aware at that time that when I already entered, then I realized that I had to take a summer off, and it was not my co-op term. So I was looking for internship, but one thing that I would like to mention for newcomers is that generally it's a good time to start looking for internship like 4 months prior to when they are looking for. So for example, I was looking for summer, so I was to start looking for around in January to get myself secured with an internship. But as I told you, I was not aware that I would be taking an off. So I would say, unfortunately, I couldn't get an internship, a summer internship. But I thought of utilizing that time networking. So I was doing the part-time job that I was doing. I continued it in summer, but I utilized my time networking as much as possible. So I was one thing about networking and one thing about approaching people is that you have to let them know what you're going through. And I was always up and forward to let people know that I need something, I need to work on something. And as I said, when you don't have any prior experience, you're not bounded. I would say, I was open to learn anything. So I started approaching people that I want to learn more new things. Anything would work for me, and I want to get experience as much as possible. That's where I got a lot of volunteer opportunities. And around by the end of summer, I was able to get an opportunity to work on a project with City of Ottawa. It was a volunteer project that I did, but it was really interesting for my profile. It was a research knowledge analyst position that I got. And although it was unpaid, but I got really valuable experience there. It was a very good experience to add on my profile in the time when I was not able to get internship. I tried utilizing my networking skills as much as possible at that time.
Okay. So we have heard a lot about networking. So can you give us the best 5 networking tips that can help students, those who don't have co-op options, or also if they have the co-op program but they don't get the co-op because they are freshers. So what are the best 5 networking tips, if we can ask, through
For
what?
sure. So one thing that I would really recommend, especially during COVID, that I have found many students suffering from was they cannot meet people one to one. So in that scenario, LinkedIn is the best source. When I was back home in India, it was not such a big deal. But when I came here, I realized that LinkedIn is really important. And what I used to do is I used to find events related to my field, for example, business analysts, related to, for example, data analytics, business analytics, some events. And I used to be there, and I used to just note the people I thought might be of help for mentoring me. So I straight away used to send them requests on LinkedIn. I started enhancing my LinkedIn profile. So one good tip is approach people for mentorship on LinkedIn. That's where I have got a lot of ideas how to approach towards the field I want to go in. So never hesitate in telling people what you are looking for. You never know what kind of help you might get, right? So that's one of the tips for networking through LinkedIn. Apart from that, as I said, there are a lot of opportunities at the university. One thing that was really helpful for me is that I started a club at the university, because I found there are students like me, and there are students, as you mentioned, who don't get opportunities like co-op. They're not all programs have co-op. So this kind of a club, or this kind of a networking skill that you have, where you group of students come together and they kind of try to develop each other's skills, that's what we were aiming for. It's basically knowledge sharing. So we started approaching industry partners where we can get any kind of projects that we want to do, we are interested in. And that is basically useful for them. We want to enhance our skills, and they want, it might help them in some way. So try to look for such co-curricular activities at your studies. It's not just about gaining the experience that you're gaining from your studies. I would say it's more about getting that co-curricular experience. Apart from that, I would suggest basically going to as many events as possible, and talking to your seniors, talking to people who have secured a job, alumni, I would say. So one thing that I really believe in, developing that alumni network, that is very important, because their learning is really important for us. So one overall tip is never hesitate asking questions, be an alumni, be your mentor or manager at workplace, or your professor. Apart from that, I had constantly tried to, I usually try to approach people for, specific mentorship. For example, I was interested in business analysis. So I approached business architect at my workplace, and I was like, this is the field that I'm really interested in, and I would really like to know how you started your career. And I try to, map her journey with mine, so that I kind of learn lessons and I get to know her lessons learned, I would say. And similarly, I did with UX UI development, and I approached my professor. I was like, this is where I want to go. So I was just trying to dig more into my field of interest. That's one place to start networking. And then there are a lot of social platforms like meetups. before COVID, there are meetups kind of platforms where you can actually like I think they might virtually be also organizing those, but generally there are like groups where you can find your interests, like focus groups. You can just learn skills together, and through Meetup is basically that app. So that is also one platform to go for. That's like my fifth tip, I would say. That is like approach people to develop skills together if you want to learn something new.
So, can you tell us about what employers are looking in the Canadian job market in the student's profile? Is it the skill, or is it behavioral, or what part plays the major role in looking for a candidate? Yeah.
I From my experience, to be honest, it's mainly like they look for skills. They definitely look for skills. I keep telling people that like, often as international students, we are really afraid that what about we don't get good grades in this particular subject. But to be honest, they are not looking for your grades. They are looking for the skills that you have developed. If you have taken a particular course, they don't ask what course you did and what basically you like achieved in that course, what grade you got, but what skills you learn from that course, and your zeal to learn. Because as a fresher, obviously employers don't expect you to know everything, and often I have seen, like, I got an experience. I was lucky enough to be in an interview session for co-op students with my manager, and there I learned that sometimes it's really important to understand that you don't know everything and you are here to learn. That's what they are also looking for. They want to see that you are ready to learn. And one really interesting thing happened with me as well. I would say, like, this is an experience which fetched me this job which I am in. So I got this job because I was able to get references from within my workplace, and I was not completely satisfying their job requirements. But after my interview, after my talk with my employer, I approached them afterwards. I approached them on email, and I was like, you know what, I really realized that I have a lot to learn, and I would really like appreciate if you would like to give me a chance, like, meanwhile you find the right fit. I know I'm not the right fit for the job, but maybe, like, if you give me this chance to learn, I might be the right fit eventually, but that will kind of help me to learn as well. So as I said, like, it's about being a fresher. They don't expect a lot from you, but you should show that zeal to learn.
Like as you talked about, get like reference plays a very important part, we also know that, but like what's the right way to get the right references to get a good jobs?
Um, I would suggest that, like, for me, what worked is I was doing projects very often. So when you show them that you really work and you like the work that you do, then definitely you will get a good reference. So one thing is that you should approach people to do, like, for example, do projects with them. Eventually, like, you might get a good reference from there, or you might even get a job if you're lucky enough. So apart from that, I generally, what I used to do is I keep telling people what I am doing right now. So I was keeping my circle informed that I'm about to graduate, and like, whoever know me, whoever knows my work, I used to approach them. Specifically, we have this feature on LinkedIn to get recommendations. So we can approach our managers, we can approach our professors, and we can tell them to give us recommendations on LinkedIn. And through that, they know, they are aware that you're looking for jobs, and you can approach them and be like, I really, like, I'm going to graduate and I am looking for a job in this field. And if you know somebody, please, would you mind, like, referring me? So definitely you should go for projects, and especially volunteer projects are a go because it's a win-win situation for both employer as well as you.
Yeah. So, like you mentioned earlier that there have been job fairs or events that are being organized before the pandemic, but during the pandemic, we know that there are virtual career fairs that is being organized. So, how beneficial are they? Like, people usually like have the assumption that they don't benefit that much. So, what is your say about it?
Um, for me, it did not really work because it was a little like, since they started, I also found some glitches in the virtual fairs. But as I said, like if you're able to at least place 2 or 3 connections when you go there and you talk to them, try to just try to follow up with them.
As you mentioned earlier that you started a club in your university, so can you tell us a little bit about your club and what it does to help students?
For sure. That's actually like a very interesting part for me. Because apart from my studies, that has kept me, connected to the university a lot, and we can just help each other to develop our professional skills. So what our club actually does is basically that. Like we try to bring opportunities. We try to bridge that gap between the industry and the students, because it's often like professors have a lot of connections at the university, but they don't have actually the time to get all those connections or all those information to the students. So as a club, what we do is we pitch our professors and our industry partners through our alumni or like whatever way we can get the connection, and we try to bring like those opportunities like live projects that can be volunteer projects or paid internships, whatever, and we try to like bring that to students. We have a huge network of students. We have around 550 members on our Facebook group, which are all U Ottawa alumni. U Ottawa students, alumni, as well as current students, as well as upcoming students. But they always get to learn about these kind of opportunities. So that's one thing that we do. And apart from that, we, as I was saying, resume, peer review, and we organize mock interviews for students, and we organize like those kind of, we have connections at the university with the career development center. So generally like they help us to kind of organize those kind of workshops. So yeah, like basically knowledge sharing, that's what we do.
It becomes very important to look out for such clubs like a person should look out for such clubs in any university or she is going to. So
yeah, I would really say I have given a lot of ideas within our this discussion, but one thing to sum up everything is like networking is the key, and it really benefited me. I have had like great experience networking here. People are really helpful. It's just about you approaching them. Be open to approach people and get their ideas. Be it be your colleague, be it be your manager, or be it be your professor. So you should definitely go there and let them know what you're going through. It can be anything. You might be looking for a job, but just open up and you should approach people. And until and unless they don't know, they won't help, right? So asking for help is never bad. You should definitely do that. So look for mentorship.
thank you so much, Astha, for your time.
Thank you so much, Astha, for your time.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for inviting me. It was great. Thanks.
We hope that you like this video and it will be very useful for your career, and you got some very useful tips about networking.
Yeah, so we have just one advice for you. Keep going, communicate more, just keep networking, keep networking, keep networking.
Don't be scared, and the world is out for you, and there's a lot of jobs for the upcoming students and for the current students as well.
Yeah, and if you really like the video, please subscribe to our channel, and you can also post your comments if you have any. Thank you so much,
and see you soon.
Yeah.